September 11th, 2001, a date that changed the world forever. Two planes crashed into New York City's iconic Twin Towers, leaving nearly 3,000 people dead, and millions shaken across the globe. It was labeled as the deadliest terrorist attack in history, but is that the whole truth? In the shadows of this tragedy lies a darker narrative, a chilling conspiracy theory suggesting that 9/11 wasn't just a terrorist attack, but a meticulously planned operation by the U.S. government itself. Could this devastating event have been an inside job? Or is this theory nothing more than paranoia? Today we unravel the evidence, explore the theories, and let you decide for yourself. It was an ordinary Tuesday morning in New York City. People were commuting to work, sipping their coffees, and living their lives until 8:46 a.m. American Airlines Flight 11 slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, instantly turning the iconic building into a blazing inferno. At first, many believed it was a tragic accident, a pilot error, or mechanical failure. But as news crews began broadcasting live, horror struck again. At 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower. The entire world watched in disbelief as the Twin Towers burned. And then, at 9:59 a.m., something unimaginable happened. The South Tower collapsed in a cloud of dust and debris. For many, the events of September 11th were clear-cut, a terrorist attack orchestrated by Osama bin Laden and his extremist group Al-Qaeda. But for others, the story didn't add up. I was in the lobby of the North Tower when the first plane hit. But before I even knew what was happening, there was an explosion in the lobby itself. It felt like a bomb went off, long before the tower fell. This wasn't an isolated account. Numerous witnesses reported hearing explosions throughout the buildings, even before the plane struck. So, if this was solely a terrorist attack, how could there have been bombs in the towers? The collapse of the Twin Towers was catastrophic and eerily symmetrical. Engineers and demolition experts noticed that the buildings fell almost exactly like a controlled demolition. Here's how demolitions work. Explosives, often placed at key structural points, are detonated in a sequence to weaken the building's foundation, causing it to collapse straight down. Sound familiar? That's exactly how the Twin Towers fell. But how could terrorists have rigged such a sophisticated operation in secret? Critics argue they couldn't. Instead, they claim it was an inside job orchestrated by the U.S. government to justify war in the Middle East. Even former President Donald Trump once commented, "It wasn't just the planes, there were bombs. Those buildings didn't fall naturally." Let's introduce Larry Silverstein, the businessman who had recently leased the World Trade Center complex. Just 2 months before September 11th, Silverstein purchased terrorism insurance for the Twin Towers, a move that raised eyebrows. After the attacks, he claimed billions in insurance payouts, sparking theories that he may have known something in advance. Coincidence? Or a calculated move? In the wake of September 11th, the U.S. government introduced the Patriot Act, a controversial law granting unprecedented surveillance powers to authorities. Thousands of surveillance cameras were installed across the country. Intelligence agencies were allowed to monitor citizens without warrants. Critics argue this was the real goal of 9/11. to give the government control under the guise of protecting national security. Was the Patriot Act a response to terrorism or a long-planned strategy to control the American people? Here's where it gets even stranger. Decades before September 11th, hints of the attacks began appearing in popular media. In 1993, the cover of a comic book featured the Twin Towers being attacked. An episode of The Simpsons showed a magazine with the numbers 9 and 11 alongside the Twin Towers. The movie The Matrix included a passport with the expiration date September 11th, 2001. This phenomenon, known as predictive programming, suggests that the idea of 9/11 was subtly planted in our minds through media. But why? Some theorists claim it was meant to desensitize us, making the real attack less shocking when it finally happened. So, was September 11th the work of terrorists alone? Or was it a meticulously planned operation by powerful forces within the U.S. government? The truth may never be fully known, but one thing is certain: 9/11 changed the world. It reshaped global politics, justified wars, and transformed how governments operate. What do you believe? Was it an act of terror or something far more sinister? Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe for more episodes exploring the mysteries of our world.